What's going on, folks? Hope everybody's doing well. I wanted to just sit down and do a quick kind of webcast style video to talk about something that was really a first for me this year. This year was the first year I sat down prior to my hunting season and wrote out hunting goals for my season. And I think there's a lot of evidence that shows, whether it's in business, personal life, whatever, writing down your goals is helpful to achieving them because you have a specific target to aim for. And so in writing down my hunting goals, it wasn't a wish list. It wasn't, shoot this monster buck that's absolutely incredible. Because, yeah, everybody wants to do that. But I wanted to write down goals that were measurable, achievable, SMART goals, if you're familiar with that acronym. So they're goals that I could accomplish and that would push me towards, a specified strategy this hunting season. And I don't know about you guys, but me, I tend to, my strategy kind of morphs and changes throughout the season based on what I see, what I feel like doing. So I wanted a set of goals that I could hold myself to that would kind of influence my strategy, what I hunt, where I hunt, all that stuff. So this was the first year I wrote down a set of hunting goals for myself. And so I wanted to make a video kind of reporting back on that because I think that's part of it too. It's part of the accountability, not do this to, be bragging, because I don't think these goals are too lofty, but just it tells you more about my hunting season, but also kind of urges you to set hunting goals and see maybe how I've done it. But also by vocalizing it, I'm held more accountable to those goals. So just kind of a quick update on that. So my goals for the 2018-2019 hunting season, the first one was to shoot a limit of doves. So that was actually a harder goal than I thought it was going to be. The first couple dove hunts, it was just horrible. I went on one hunt where I literally did not even see a dove to shoot at. It was awful. And then I went on one hunt towards the end of September where I finally got my limit. And I was so committed to that goal. And it was funny, Kyle was with me on that hunt. But I did pretty well in the morning. I think I had about 11 birds by about 9:30 or 10 a.m. Then I got to 14 by about noon. And I sat there hunting the entire afternoon to get to my limit of 15 birds because I was wanting to accomplish that goal. And this was the only hunt where I had seen enough doves to even get close. So I was committed to that goal. And so I shot 14 basically by noon and hunted, 6 more hours to get one more dove. And normally that seems ridiculous, but because I had this goal, I was motivated to do that. So shoot a limit of doves, completed. Check. September 23rd, got that one done. My next goal was to kill a deer on public land with my bow in Texas. Now, if you're not familiar with hunting in Texas, there's tons of private land, but not a lot of public land. And so the public land that's out there, there are a few large parcels of public land. And a few, areas where it's a lake and the dam is run by Corps of Engineers, so you can hunt below the dam, stuff like that. But those areas tend to get a lot of pressure. And so I've killed deer with my bow, and I had killed deer on public land in Texas, but it was with a muzzleloader. So my goal this year was purely combining those. And so buck, doe, didn't matter, wasn't a part of this goal. The goal was simply to kill a deer on public land, legally, ethically, all that stuff with my bow. And kind of my bonus there was if I could self-film it. And I ended up filming it, and it was a doe. And it was actually opening day. So it's a spot. I put a lot of time into scouting this year because my strategy was kind of a flip-flop from what it had been previous years. I used to, spend about a day or two scouting, and then I'd find some decent spots and then hunt those spots a lot. My goal was kind of opposite. I wanted to spend more time scouting than hunting. And so basically really identify spots and try to figure out why they're good, when they're good. And so this was basically, I knew there were some spikes and does kind of on a bed to food pattern coming out of this kind of hardwood gully area, some post oaks. And so I figured out their strategy, and so I could hunt that place one time and get it done. So that was my goal, and it worked. So kill a deer on public land with my bow, got that done. Opening day, September 29th, and I actually have a video on that of that hunt on my channel, so check that one out. That was where I was just kind of just standing up on a limb. I was only 5-6 feet off the ground. because I was in these scraggly post oaks, and I found the spot where I could see this trail, but I needed to get up above the grass. And I have a climbing stand that I like using, but in those scraggly oaks that aren't very tall, aren't very big, there's no way you can get a climber in those things. So I literally just stood on a branch, my back against the tree, about 6 feet off the ground, and sure enough, I saw the doe coming in and managed to get that doe. So I got that goal completed. My next goal on my list was to kill a deer in Michigan. So this was the first year I've hunted Michigan. I've done a lot of hunting in Texas, a little bit of hunting in Mississippi, but really I haven't done a lot of out-of-state deer hunting in general. So I was invited to hunt over Thanksgiving with Kyle, and I really appreciate the invite because it was a really fun hunt. It was a great trip. It was just a good time. But this is my first chance to hunt in Michigan. And so my goal was to kill a deer in Michigan. And I had a buck tag originally, and then I was able to purchase a doe tag. So that's why my goal was really just kill a deer. Buck preferable, but either way, kill a deer in Michigan. My first time doing that. So I ended up hunting the whole time, and on the last day, in the last few minutes, I ended up tagging a buck, a little 7-point, not a big buck at all, but he'll eat good. I've already had some of that meat, and it's been great. But ended up using my little 44 Magnum lever action, which is now a legal gun in Michigan, to get a buck on the very last day. It was Thanksgiving Day, actually, so I was thankful for that buck. And I had actually missed a bigger buck 2 days before that. I was turning way around, shooting back through some brush, and I nicked a twig, and I was upset about it. I saw that big buck run off, and I was bummed, but fortunately another one came by. I was committed to that stand too. I think I had hunted that same tree stand 4 days in a row, which was opposite my previous strategy. I like scouting to find a spot that's good and then hunting when I can get it done. But I knew that spot was good, so I just kept hunting it and hunting it and hunting it. And then finally, on the evening of the last day, got it done with that little buck. So, kill a deer in Michigan, goal completed, 11/22/2018. My next goal was to kill a buck in Texas bigger than my 2017 buck. And so last year, I killed a 10-point with my bow in Texas, kind of west central Texas. And that one was exciting to me because it's a place where a lot of people have feeders and food plots and all that, and I had just been watching the area and hadn't seen any deer there, and just really looked at the wind and the trails and said, hey, today I'm going to go to this other spot. I've never hunted there, but based on the wind, based on the sign I'm seeing, this spot makes sense. And sure enough, I was able to stick a really nice doe just coming down the trail, and I was able to stick a nice buck there last year. And he wasn't huge, but it was my first 10-point. And so I was pretty excited about that. So my goal was, I don't have a specific score. I don't even measure the antlers because the number at this point, I don't care. And I know a lot of people get really into, how does it score, all that stuff. For me, my goal was just, hey, something bigger than last year. And I managed to do that again on opening day of rifle season. And this was a really cool hunt because my dad had actually got a buck the day before. We were out after dark. We found it, got it cleaned up. And then the next morning, I decided to switch spots. And this is the deer. I think I posted a short video called Big Buck Down. Unfortunately, I did not get the shot on video. But as soon as I fired and I felt good about the shot, I flipped on the camera just to record my reaction. So check that one out. I think it's just called Big Buck Down. And that's just kind of when I found that deer. But it was a cool story because I saw him and then he was running away when I saw him just because I think he didn't like being out in the open. And I grunted at him with my mouth. I just went, and then I picked up my grunt call and kept going. And then he actually flipped around, came 180, running right back at me. And I think he was going to try to circle and get downwind of me. And I ended up popping him at about 58, 60 yards, pretty close with my 270. And so that goal was just kill a buck bigger than my 2017 buck. And so I got that done. He's a 9-point, but that 9-point's definitely bigger than my 10-point last year. So I was excited about that. So those are all the goals that I've completed so far. So now is the challenging part, the goals that I still have on my plate. So kill a turkey with my bow is a goal that I have for this spring. Really, it was this year. If I had a chance to do it in the fall, because we do have a fall turkey season, but I don't really have a good place that's good for turkeys in the fall. So kill a turkey with my bow was a goal. I've killed turkeys with shotguns several times, and I stuck one with a bow, but did not manage to harvest it. It shook the arrow out. Basically, it was a shot that the turkey busted me when I went to draw back, took off running. I did a Hail Mary, boom, lobbed the arrow at it, and basically hit the turkey in the butt. And I felt bad for wounding the bird, but then I actually saw it shake the arrow out, and the bird was okay. So that was the closest I had been to harvesting a turkey with my bow. I got my best turkey that I don't know if I'm ever going to beat last year. It was a really cool four-bearded gobbler in North Texas. So really for me, it's not about the quality of bird, because I don't know if I'm going to beat that. It's just I love turkey hunting. I love the adventure, the fun, the strategy, the calling. I just love getting out there doing it. So it's not necessarily about how big is the bird. It's more about the adventure. So that's why my goal this year is all about the method. I want to get one with my bow. So still have that for this spring. Next goal is to kill at least one hog. I have not killed a hog this season. Last season, I think I killed 3. I killed one that was a big sow, about 140, 150 pounds, with my 300 blackout in a wheat field in North Texas. And then I killed 2 other smaller ones. Both of those actually were with my 270, which a 270 versus a small hog about rolls that thing over. And that's my favorite hunting caliber recently. So I was able to get 3 hogs last year, but this year I have not killed a single one. And I don't necessarily want to, go out on one of these thermal hunts or, go after getting tons of hogs. I just want to get at least one. So that's in my 2018, 2019 hunting season goals this year. And it's a little bit weird seasonally because there is no season in hogs. So I'm basically saying, up through until it's too hot to really go out and hunt, especially hogs, because when it gets really hot, they go all nocturnal. So this probably goes through about, honestly, the end of turkey season, 2019. So kill at least one hog. Still got to do that. Next goal is kill more coyotes than I kill deer. So a lot of people, I don't know, think coyote hunting is pretty controversial. For me, it makes a whole lot of sense. It's basically just a management strategy. It's the idea that if I'm a predator going after prey, going after the deer, well, I don't want an overabundance of predators going after the deer, because I'll kill a deer, I'll wait till a doe is of enough maturity to reproduce, have offspring, and then I'll take that doe, and there's still, the offspring. The coyote is just going to take the fawn. They're going to take the easiest prey available. And so if we're killing turkeys and we're killing deer, but we're not, putting pressure on the coyotes, we're creating an overabundance of predators versus a diminishing quantity on the prey side. So for me, coyote hunting is all about balance. I don't necessarily sell the furs. If I got a really nice one, maybe I would. I'd probably try to make something out of it rather than try to make money off of it, honestly. But my goal is just to kill more coyotes than I kill deer. And so far I've killed 3 deer: that archery doe in Texas, that rifle buck in Texas, and the Michigan buck. So I've killed 3 deer and I've killed 2 coyotes. I killed 1 coyote in North Texas. It was actually the day before I killed that buck. I saw a coyote running, and then he stopped about 150 yards. And again, with the 270, that's not that difficult of a shot. But I saw a coyote, didn't see any deer, so I went ahead and smoked him. So that was my first coyote of the year. Second one, I teamed up with the TruGlow Predator Hunters Pro Staff team out in El Paso. And it was actually the most successful coyote hunt I've ever been on. I'll be putting out a video about that hunt pretty soon. We hunted coyotes for 2 days solid. We got, between the whole group, we got 6 coyotes the first day, and I got one of those, and then I think there was one that we all shot at. So we all kind of got a piece of another one with shotguns, but there was one that I definitely smoked with a rifle. And then the next day, actually, I didn't get one. I missed one the next day, which was a bummer. but we got, or I guess I wasn't a part of it, they got 4 the next day. So far, kill more coyotes than deer. I've killed 3 deer, 2 coyotes. So I need to kill 1 more to break even, 1 more or 2 more to really accomplish my goal of killing more coyotes than deer. So I think I can do that, but it means I'm going to have to start going on some coyote specific hunts. So hopefully I can go out 1 or 2 times just hunting for coyotes, and then I don't know. It seems like I always see coyotes during turkey season too. I got that video of a coyote chasing off a gobbler last year, so we'll see. And then my last goal that I have on this list is something. It's last because it was something I kind of thought of on a whim, but I think it's actually pretty important. So my goal is don't kill anything that I look back on and regret. And I think a lot of hunters fail to take into account that sort of thing. You go get excited about stuff and you're less of an adventurer and hunter and more just a killer. And I think honestly that's part of being an effective hunter, right? You got to be a killer. You have to have a killer mentality to go out and harvest game and get it done. But I don't want to kill any game animal and look back on it and think, well, I didn't really need to do that. Last year there was a spike that I shot and it was totally legal. I had shot my buck, and so the only other buck tag I had was a spike. Then I saw a spike, and then I shot it, and the meat was great, and I was super excited about it. It was a hunt where we all got something, so it was a whole lot of fun in the moment. And looking back, I don't quite regret it, but it's kind of a gray area for me, because on that property, I don't know if we needed to kill more deer on that property. I think the population, the deer herd would have been better if I probably had just passed on that deer. And I already had enough meat in the freezer, so I got a little bit greedy on that, but I ended up, I didn't waste any of the meat. It was great. Harvested it. It was awesome, but it was a gray area for me whether or not I should have really shot that deer or not. So that's why my goal this year is just kind of, as I accomplish all these other goals, don't kill anything that I look back on and I regret shooting. So that's kind of that goal. And then I wrote down 2 goals on here that are more bonus goals, I guess. So everything else I've listed is things that I think I can accomplish if I really try to do it. Kill a turkey with a bow, kill a deer on public land, kill a deer in Michigan. I think those are things that I can accomplish, and I did accomplish about half of them so far. And so the bonus goals are things that I don't necessarily know how I would accomplish it, but it would be cool and I wanted to write it down. So that's why I categorize them as bonus goals. So one is kill a black buck antelope. I think black buck are really cool, really beautiful creatures. They run around like crazy. I think it would be an adventure to hunt black buck, and I would love to have a black buck hanging on the wall. And not just from a trophy perspective, I'd love to try the meat. I think it'd be a challenge. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be delicious. And I'd love to have one on the wall. So bonus goal for 2018-2019 season, and so that's probably going to be more like 2019 because it's about Christmas now, is to kill a black buck antelope. Last year was also the first time I had killed an axis. So kill an axis buck with a bow is one of my bonus goals for next year. And so both of these bonus goals are exotics. And that's why I also left them as bonus goals, because being exotics, sometimes where you hunt them, it's a little bit different. There's a lot of these exotic places that are high fence ranches. And I don't have anything inherently against high fence ranches. I think it more goes into the idea of fair chase. I think there are a lot of high fence ranches where people spend a lot of time taking care of their property and encouraging these animals onto their property, whether they brought them there or whether they wanted to cross the road. But there's a lot of ranchers who basically have these high fence ranches, and they're just high fence because they don't want their neighbors shooting all the animals. And I get that. But then there's some high fence ranches where it's this tiny, tiny little place, 50 acres, packed with way too many animals, and it's just a slaughter fest. And I don't like that. It's canned. There's no, like, for me, when I see people like sheep hunting on a high fence ranch, like, I'm not gonna tell people not to do it, but like it's not my thing. You're killing a farm animal in a pen. I don't really get it. So if you have thoughts about that, comments. I'd love to talk about that. I'd love to learn more about it. But for me right now, it's just kind of not my thing. But these exotic hunts, so axis and black buck, maybe that's high fence, maybe not. If I can find a place that has these species that is not high fence, that would be my preference. But it's kind of hard to find. I just don't want it to feel canned. I don't want it to just be a tiny, tiny little place where you're just slaughtering these animals. And that's why black buck and axis are both on this list, because they are both very wild, jumpy animals. So it's a little different than a sheep or something. So those are my bonus goals for this hunting season. Last year was the first time I had killed an axis, but it was with a rifle. And so this year I want to get one with my bow. And I wrote kill an axis buck, but I think if I kill an axis doe, I'd be just as excited. If I killed an axis doe with my bow, I'd be just as excited, because axis meat is fantastic. And killing anything with a bow, in my opinion, is kind of a trophy on its own, just because you got to get that much closer, and it's tougher. So killing an axis buck with a bow would be awesome, but killing an axis doe would be great, and the meat's fantastic. So just kind of wanted to talk about that. I know this video I've kind of rambled more than I thought I was going to, but just kind of something to think about, talk about. I'd love to read your comments, love to hear back from you guys. If you set hunting goals, or what do you think about mine? I don't know, just this whole idea of setting goals for your hunt, trying to, I guess, plan your hunt and hunt your plan. So love to hear back. I may do more of these webcast videos in the future. And it's almost Christmas, believe it or not. This year has just flown by. So I've got a couple other videos kind of in the pipeline, but I doubt I'm going to have anything else coming out before Christmas. So I wish you a very Merry Christmas. And until next time, stay safe, be free, and never stop seeking adventure. See ya.